Hi everyone, and welcome to Belfast High School History on YouTube. This little video is going to help you answer a perfect history GCSE 16 mark question. So as you may be aware, you hopefully are aware, the 16 mark question is the last question at the end of your United States section of the History GCSE Paper 1. Okay, so it'll be the question that you answer before moving on to the Northern Ireland section. So you're probably looking at about the end of your 45 minutes with this, and it's really important that we get this right because it's quite a lot of the marks for the first section. As you know, there are 5 questions on the United States section. So there's question 1, which is general knowledge, multiple choice. There's question 2, which is explain. You've got question 3, which is the 6 marker. Question 4 is the 8 marker, and then we have our 16 marker. Okay, so 2 pages given over to that, which shows you that it is important. And this 16 marker is worth quite a lot of the marks for this first section of the paper, and we want to make sure we maximize these marks. So look, it's really important that you realize that the Northern Ireland section actually takes up an hour of your paper, so it's an hour 45 minutes, so it's an hour of your paper. So you have to make sure the timing is essential for this. So this needs to be finished by the end of the first 45 minutes. Okay, so let's look at the 16 mark question itself. So the basics. So it's an essay question, obviously. Okay, it's worth the most. It's an essay question. It will contain a statement and will ask you whether you agree or disagree with that statement. Timing wise, well, you should definitely aim to spend no more than 15 minutes in this. Okay, try to aim for 15 minutes, but no more than that. Okay, you have to make sure you move on to Northern Ireland within the time limit. You have to make sure you give a judgment on the statement. You can't, sit on the fence. You have to say one way or the other what you think. But you also have to be balanced. You have to show both sides. And ideally with this here, you should have one paragraph showing one side, the other paragraph showing the other side. That's the way to actually get full marks. So a typical 16 mark question will read like something like this. The lives of women improved in America in the 1920s. Do you agree? And we know that, well, the lives of women did improve massively on so many levels. However, not for all women across America. We have to make sure we get our introduction right. It's really important. So the introduction is where you're actually, agreeing or disagreeing with the statement. In this case, I agree with the statement that lives of women improved in the 1920s United States. There was remarkable improvements. However, that word however is really important. Okay, you just have to show there that there were serious limitations to that as well. Then you move on to your proposition argument. That is really important. It's important that you put across all the key details. In this case, I've divided it up politically, economically and socially, and you can see how I've peppered this here with lots of good arguments, lots of good evidence, lots of good golden nuggets. Okay, so lots of good facts and figures to back up my proposition argument that lives did improve for women in the 1920s. The other section is shorter, but it still has lots and lots of detail, okay, and it shows that, in some cases the lives of women did not improve. And again, I've tried to go for politically, economically and socially. So I've matched those up, but there are clearly areas where they did not improve. Okay, so there were things like anti-flirt campaigns, there were backlash from conservative America, and obviously in different parts of America, people didn't agree with women's rights. Okay, you also have to have conclusion. Your conclusions should definitely match your introduction. How is it marked then? Well, you have to make sure that it's a full assessment, okay, that you give a judgment that is balanced, that it's very well informed, you have lots and lots of evidence in that, and your writing, punctuation and grammar should be consistently good to get that top 16 mark victory. Okay, how can you revise for these types of questions? Okay, well, what you can do is actually, if I were you, go through all the PPQs, all the past paper questions, put them on top of a page, divide your page into 2, and put all your arguments down one side, all your arguments down the other side, and try to look at different types of questions and how they could be asked. Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully this is useful. It should help you to plan and get those 16 marks in the bag.